Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to another Urban Pixel Minecraft exhibit. This is the third video in the airport series, and so let's get right into it. And so after we pass security, we're going to go down these two escalators that leads into the gate area. And as you can see, there is a sign on the overhead with two arrows. I've done this using an item frame and a smithing plate, and in this texture pack, it's depicted as like an arrow, and so I have one going to the left and one to the right like this. It doesn't really show much, but it kind of shows that there's gates on both left and right sides. And so here we are. This is the main gate area where the planes dock. And so as you can see, we do have some food establishments on the left here. So for example, this is like a Subway sandwich shop. I do have the usual table, ingredients, and all that classic stuff. And if you haven't noticed, Subways usually have these like designs on their counters, like kind of like tomatoes or plants or vegetation or something like that. And so I've kind of incorporated that into my design here by putting these plant looking like paintings all across the bottom part of the counter like so. And then here we have some sort of restaurant. I haven't really determined what cuisine it is yet, but it kind of has this vibe with this orangey whatever, maybe a Mexican restaurant or whatever. And in this empty space, I'm going to be putting a lot more of these kind of stores all around, kind of like a food court with seating in the middle, but I haven't gotten around to that yet. And so, okay, let's go here. To board the planes, obviously we have to go through these jetways. And so here is one of them as an example. This television screen here shows the flight information, like the flight number, the destination, stuff like that. This yellow sign shows the gate number. And because I have no way of actually putting numbers on the yellow sign, instead, in order to indicate different jetways, I kind of just put a different pattern of black banners on the top like this to just kind of indicate that it's a different one. I'm not really sure. It seemed to be a decent idea, so I just kind of stuck with it. So, along with that is also the backboard. And you could tell that this jet bridge is connected with this airline because right outside the doorway is like this backboard basically shows what airline the plane is. And so as you can see, this is the Delta pattern with the red and blue. This is where the workers will call in the boarding groups. They'll put their boarding pass through this machine. Actually, you know what? Let me try something here. There's always like a machine where you can scan your boarding pass. So let's just put that right over there. Like that. So you're going to scan on the boarding pass. And then you're going to... Oops. Let me just put one more. So you're going to scan it, and then you're going to go onto the jet bridge like this. And I do have these kind of glass barriers that act as lines, just in case you have any reason to go up to the desk. And of course, with every doorway, there is this waiting area, and so I do have this seat over here. And the view outside is very typical airport looking like, with this this road pattern and the planes out there. So another Delta gate here. Another Delta gate here. And this gate is a Southwest gate. So each one of these backboards has a distinct pattern like this. You go up on this line, and you go through the jet bridge like that. And out there is the Southwest plane. Okay, so now we are in the main concourse, which is where the roof is obviously the highest. And so there's a couple little details I wanted to talk about here. The first off is just these tables and chairs located on the left over here. Basically, if you get any food, you can just come sit here. You have a nice window side view of the planes or whatever. I should probably add a lot more like vehicles on the ground right here and more of the patterns as well, like the road markings on the airport. Up here, we have a screen showing the flight information, and it's lit by end rods going across the middle like this. And in order to make the pattern of the screen, I kind of just use the tinted glass panes, which make them thinner. And because this is such a long stretch of walking, I have included these walking escalators like this. So I've done this by using a like the dark cobblestone, and then the yellow glass. I mean, you can kind of tell what this is. And that's so over there, actually, let me just show you the rest of. So this is one side of the terminal, and there's going to be gates going on the left and right going all the way down to the end. And these lights took so long to make, but I wanted to really make sure that because I was very excited about making this airport, and so I wanted to make sure that the terminal was as realistic as possible. And I think this turned out really, really well. The light pattern I think is made in a really well ratio, and the floor texture I chose, which is just a clay block, but in this texture pack it looks really nice. I think the choice of blocks here was good as well. So yes, this is the one half, and then you can go through the main concourse where all the passengers first go, and then here we are. This long hallway leads to the second concourse of the terminal, and on the right hand side here we have more food establishments. I'll be making more. These are just the first two. Obviously this is a McDonald's, so you're gonna come up to the counter. The yellow arch and the red, you can clearly tell this is McDonald's. This is supposed to be a Buffalo Wild Wings because of the yellow and black pattern. Ooh, there's a hole in the roof there. Let me fix that. Okay, that's all fixed. So as you can see, the roof slowly curves downward. And, yeah, so this is something I wanted to talk about. Keeping this part of the airport bright was very, very difficult because the roof is a little just out of the range where the lights can actually reach the floor. And so what I've done is I've used an alternating pattern of lights and glass. And the glass allows the daylight to come through. And so the floor is beautifully lit around this area. On the right-hand side, there's planes as well. And this side of the concourse hasn't been touched much yet because it's actually a new addition. I decided very recently that I wanted to add this new part of the terminal. And so there's going to be planes parked on that side and this side, and they're going to be facing like this way. And so I'm only going to make gates on the left side for this one because I don't want to have to make a whole new gray section over there. Or maybe actually I could, because even if I make the whole gray section over there with the planes parked on this side too, I can make the runway going that way. So that might be a good idea. And so as you can see, this part of the concourse hasn't been touched yet very much, but it is all being built, and there's going to be multiple planes facing out that way as well. Okay, and so we are back in the main concourse. And just to note, this is one fun fact about the airport. Originally, the original design of my airport was actually like the escalators would take you down into this one concourse here, and there was a huge wall that started along this line of quartz blocks. A huge wall just came across like this. So the escalator took you here. There was a little store there along this wall like that, and this whole place was just cut off. It was only this one concourse, and I decided that since I put so much work into the airport already, I might as well just expand it even more. And so I took down that wall, and I made a huge glass skylight roof here, and I've decided to even expand that further into another concourse down there. And so that's the story. I suddenly decided that I wanted to expand. And there's not much else to see in the main terminal gate area because most of the interior hasn't been completed yet. And it's not really easy to do a zoom out of this either, but I guess to conclude the video, that's what I will do. Once again, thank you so much for watching this Urban Pixel video, and I'll see you in the next one. If you have anything you'd like to see me build, or you want to see me show again, please let me know in the comments. Thank you.